I'm on this range, and the techniques I'm teaching my soldiers are going to keep them alive in combat, hopefully save civilians. I'm under a lot of pressure. If you guys is about having fun, I had fun. I really hope that happened with you as well.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
For two reasons, I think it should be a little bit more than fun. This should be something that's meaningful. Hopefully understand and have a bit of understanding of what's going on here. Guys, I don't know, the first reason I think it's more meaningful, not only just to have fun shooting, and it's a sport, it's a skill, but I believe that you visit any country in the world, you need to understand the mentality of that country. You need to understand the culture. I know when I went to visit the States, I wanted to go where the tourists went. I wanted to go where the locals would hang out. I wanted to see what they experience, their kind of music, their food. You need to understand the locals. Guys, when you come here to Israel, you should know something. Counter-terrorism for us isn't a game. It's not one of these TV shows. For us, it's a way of life. Something I'm not proud about is that my 4 children have grown up with guns in the house. I must tell you, I didn't want that. I'd like the first time they saw a gun was on a movie or a shooting range, when they go to the military. I'm with my weapons 24/7. This weapon's always with me. My handgun, the only time it's off my body is when I take a shower. I've got a safe next to my shower. I put it in the safe when I shower, when I take it out. When I go to bed, my weapon's underneath my pillow. I'm 24/7 connected to a control room. I don't have time to go take my weapon out of a safe. It always needs to be ready to go. I'll tell you, for us, when you visit this range, you understand that counter-terrorism is real. It looks a bit weird, because when I go to the synagogue, I've got twins. So I've got a double stroller in front of me. My M16's on my back. That's how I'll go to the synagogue. I'll tell you how it goes down. It's a Friday evening. Just give you a typical Friday. The Sabbath is after the sun sets. It's around about this time. There's a beautiful glow in the sky, and my house has a great, great smell of freshly baked bread. Challah, you have to taste it, it's amazing. We only eat it once a week. My children look like angels. They're around the table, which is purely white. Everything on this is white. It's our best china. We have a custom, is that when we sanctify the day, I go around to each one of my children, I place my hand on their heads, and I give them a blessing. As I place my hand on my first child's head, it's when gunshots go off. It's when the control room activates me. I don't have time to go to each one of my kids and say goodbye. I don't have time to go and hug them. I run out of that house as quickly as possible and I get to that terror attack. You know, my children have stopped asking me where I go. I can't tell them what I do. I can't tell them where I go. But when I come back, they're all asleep. It's my wife who's waiting for me. She's waiting for 2 possible knocks on the door. It's either me coming home, or it's a uniformed officer coming to inform her that, God forbid, I'm dead or I'm in hospital, I'm not coming home. I can see the relief on her eyes each time when I open that door, that I'm home and I'm safe. It's then I walk into the room of all my children. I creep in quietly. I place my hand on each of their heads and I give them a blessing. I cuddle them and I hug them. And I thank God that He keeps me safe. Without His help, no ways will come home. And my God forbid, my children will be orphans. As I believe, when you come to our range, you understand that counter-terrorism affects real people, real families. It's not a game. You understand that Israel is always on a fight against terrorism. Guys, I want to tell you something. I wish I could tell you that terrorism was only our problem. It's not true. It's a worldwide problem. It's your problem. My commander taught us that there's 2 types of people in the world. People are part of the problem and people part of the solution. You know, when I go into a departures hall at an airport, I see 500 passengers about to board a plane. You know what I see? I see 500 problems. You know what these people are thinking standing in line there? They're thinking about themselves. They're thinking, am I overweight? Talking about the luggage, right? They're thinking, do I have the aisle seat, window seat? Do I have time to go to duty free? This is, you know, how many of them are thinking, is this a safe place? Looking around, looking out for signs. Be part of the solution. If I've got here 26 more people that can leave this range and make a difference in an airport, part of the solution. 26 more eyeballs. Looking around, making sure that we say, guys, terrorists show signs when they carry out an attack. In a great airport that's got air conditioning, they perspire. Look out for that. They get what we call tunnel vision, preoccupied with the terror attack. They're so focused on carrying out the attack that when they walk, they bump into things ordinarily they should see. You can always see it for your peripheries. They bump into people. Your name, sir?
Dan.
You answer your name within half a second. It's a reflex. You've been called it your whole life. Your whole life, you know your name. Go up to someone who's showing signs. Ask them their name. They'll fumble. Preoccupation with carrying out an attack. Guys, you can be part of the solution. I got a hero of mine. You've seen a lot of soldiers over here. You met my colonel. You met Aidan, both of them. One was on protection for the Prime Minister of Israel. Got an instructor over here on this range who was actually in the Kebi raid. I'm sure you guys heard of that raid.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
My hero is an old man in Jerusalem. He's not in the police. He's not in the military. He's a man who owned a little cafe. Today at his cafe, he sees a bag lying around. That bag to him looks suspicious. No one was paying any attention to the bag. Not, you know, when it's your bag, you look over, someone's touching it. No one was paying attention. He started asking people, is that your bag? Is that your bag? Is that your bag? No one answered. He said, this is suspicious. He said, guys, let's get out of here. The person came up to him and said, who are you? You the police? You the military? He said, I'm neither. I'm Israeli. I care about all of you. So get out of here. He managed to move 9 people 35 yards away from that package when it exploded, including himself 10. All saved. Why? Because he cared. He made a difference. That's my hero. Guys, if you can leave this range with a message that terrorism is a problem that affects every community, look after one another. Look after your families, look after your friends. Be vigilant. Look out. I know people have a mindset, and I've seen a few soldiers. I was privileged to take a few soldiers in my group. Guys, you can see we're trained. The training happens in your own home. It's when you're in the malls. This is what terrorism is all about. Always be ready. As we say in my unit, and I'm sure it says in every unit, in elite units, expect the unexpected. We always need to be ready. It's not just when I'm in a war jacket, not when I've got paint on my face. We always need to be prepared. That's the first reason I think this is a meaningful experience over here. The second reason is I'm going to ask for your help. Sharon already said, and I can see it, is that you friends of Israel, we need your help, not only being vigilant, but I need your help with your mouths. And guys, you know I'm from South Africa. My wife is Canadian. We met here in Israel. I spent 5 years on a contract in Sydney, Australia. Wherever I've gone in the world, I turn on the TV, I turn on the news, I read the newspapers. You know what they say about me, an Israeli soldier, active? They call me an animal and a barbarian. They say that I love killing little Palestinian children. I want you guys to take a message back to your communities. You met us. We don't do this because we love killing. We don't do this because we're filled with hate. In fact, the exact opposite. I'm filled with a deep, deep sense of love. I love this country. I love the people who live here. And the people come and visit. You know, there's a country with incredibly rich history. You've got a right to come to this country, to learn about its past. It talks about your past. To learn about your heritage, to see and feel a beautiful place of the world, a place we think is really holy. And you should do this by feeling safe. Yeah. I don't want you to come into this country and always looking over your shoulder at a restaurant, at a mall, thinking, am I in danger? I want you to feel that. That's why I do what I do. I want people to come to this beautiful country and feel safe. I wish I could tell you that my terrorists are also motivated by a sense of love. I would fight them, but I would respect them. My terrorists that I've encountered, I don't respect. And the reason is that they're filled with only and motivated purely just by hate. You guys may have heard of a terror attack Friday night. A Fogel family in a little place called Itamar is sleeping. 2 terrorists with knives went into that house and killed our family while they were sleeping. You know, these terrorists, because they didn't make any loud noise with gunfire and was only with knives, were able to actually kill the family and leave. They went back into the Arab village where they started boasting about what they had done. We had an undercover agent in that village, heard them boasting. Verified what they did wasn't just junk, but it was true. Gave us their location and we did a sting operation, went and arrested them. I was part of the team who took them back to the house where they'd done all the killings. I'll tell you, we wanted them to reenact the terror attack. Every single time a civilian dies, I take full responsibility. It means our techniques aren't good enough. It means we're not vigilant enough. It means we are not doing our jobs. I want to see how I stuffed up. So I took them back to the house. I handed him a knife made of rubber and I wanted to reenact the attack. I think he wanted to help Israel, his enemy. He was so pleased.
Really?
Smile on his face. He wanted to show me every detail of how he massacred a Jewish family. We went into the first room. There's still blood on the floor, on the beds, on the walls. He showed us how they went from room to room killing an entire family. Once they had killed everybody, they left the house. It was when they were outside They told us they heard a baby crying. This was a 6-month-old little girl. The parents couldn't help because they were already dead. But these terrorists, following the crying of this young little infant, went back into the house, went down the corridor until they found her mattress in the corner of a room. The second terrorist showed how he held her body still, while the first terrorist took the knife and slit her throat. There where his knife was dangling was a little pool of blood. I don't understand. Because when I turn on the television, they call me the barbarian, they call me the animal. And what do they call these terrorists?
Freedom fighters.
Freedom fighters.
Yeah.
Take back a message to your communities. If you want to know a little bit about us, Sharon told you about his family. If you want to know about me, I'll tell you I'm on an elite counter-terrorist unit. I'm also privileged, honoured, to be an instructor of one of the best rangers in this country for counter-terrorism. But I only work here part-time. I don't work here full-time. In the mornings, I run a special needs program. I believe everyone should have the opportunity to come and learn in Israel. Even guys with Down syndrome, autism. So I set up a program that allows special needs to come and learn in Israel. In the afternoons, I'm studying to become a rabbi. I've spent 6 years in a place called a kollel. I'm doing all of my exams. I call them my smicha exams. I've studied for 6 years. My final exam's coming up in 3 months. Just to understand what kind of person I am. Number one in this world, I am a husband. I'm a father of 4 beautiful kids. I'm an educator. Anyone who knows me will tell you, I'm very gentle. But I'm gentle to a point. You put my family in danger. You put my friends in danger. I'm not gentle anymore.
No.
I'll protect that which I care about. That does not make me a barbarian. If you don't mind taking that message back to your communities, who we are and what we're all about. You see over here, I put some pictures up. These pictures are part of one of our instructors. You actually saw him around. I couldn't believe this guy comes from Russia. He was in the elite special units in Russia, paratrooper. He thought, why am I fighting here? These are the same guys that used to beat me up in the orphanage. Both of his parents were killed at the age of 3. He was sent into a Russian orphanage. You know who he was known as in the orphanage? Age 3. He was known as the Jew. Beaten up at age 6 because he was Jewish. Russian Special Forces, he decides to come to Israel. He goes into the elite counter-terrorist unit, finds himself on this range. This guy is an incredible soldier. Combat fighter, I never knew he could paint. He's built. You can see his killer instincts. But when it comes down to it, all of us are individuals. All of us are people with love, with friends, with family, and that's what it's about for us. I want you to understand it. That's the message I want you to get from here. Guys, I know a lot of you were in the military. What hurts me more than anything, and I'm going to talk about this, is gun safety. Is that I'll tell you, what hurts me more, I can deal with what I've done in a terror attack. There's been, I don't know, guys have seen combat here before. It's a completely different kind of combat when you go in and you see little children being shot at. I've gone and stopped that terrorist, I can live with that. I sleep easy at night. What makes me not sleep at night is in America, more children die because of terror attacks. Children die because of irresponsible gun control. Guns kept under the bed. Put it in the chamber, one up. Kids play with the guns and shoot themselves. No matter how hard I train, till my fingers are bleeding. I cannot stop the irresponsibility of what's happening with young kids. That's what I'm dedicated to doing, making people feel safe. Please send this message out to wherever you are. You own guns, look after them. I've got a saying, people who don't lock away their guns, they should be locked away. Always be vigilant, know where your gun is. Shoot only at a range with an instructor. These are simple things. Please take this message back with you. If you want to take souvenirs, a lot of people, some who've never shot before, will take a shell, a souvenir. I want to let you know, you pass as tourists, you're allowed a shell. You're not allowed to take live ammunition though. So if you found on the floor while picking up shells, live ammo, you need to give that back to me. It's a criminal offense to leave that range in your possession. Okay? So if you do have that, please give it to me. If you're not sure, ask me before you take it. If you are flying with your shells, right, I wouldn't put it in your pockets or your carry-on. Put it in your stowaway, your luggage, and if they find it, you should know 100% legal. I'll never tell you that to do something that's illegal. Shells are legal. Bullets aren't. We clear? Fantastic. You guys get certificates. You deserve them. These certificates, I can tell you after doing this program with us, is very meaningful, not only for what you've done and for hopefully the message you messages you take away. But of course, what's on this certificate, I'm very proud to see that you guys are wearing Givati hats. That's one of our best infantry units. In fact, the man standing over here in these train tracks was in the elite Givati unit. I want to tell you a bit about him. First, I'm going to hand out these certificates. If you don't mind, I'll explain what's on them. Randall, William.